It's not that she's fearless, it's mostly she's ignorant.
Yeah.
Despite all her smarts, she, like you said, she's never been in those situations. So you haven't developed those instincts. And there's a scene, but just the idea that she's surrounded by all of these gangly boys just is so, it's like going to a zoo. You're like, I've never seen anything like this before because I've been so sheltered. And Travis represents the leader of that pack. He's a good guy, but it takes you a while to figure that out because he's just a doofus teenager who
Yeah.
also has his own ignorance and has his own problems at home.
Yeah, I like the way that you approached it, and because I'm like I'm a mom of two little boys, and so I
Mhm.
have so much more sympathy to even if they're like helicoptering and going crazy, like moms, whatever. I'm like Travis, listen to your mom.
Yeah. No, and for example, his mom, she was perfectly reasonable, and I picture my own mom saying things like that, and I wanted to be like, yeah, here's a very reasonable mother who is still being discarded, and what are the consequences of that?
Yeah, and it's crazy to parallel with that or juxtapose that with Penny's relationship with her mom, who's one can see like her mom has been absent and been incapacitated and to an extent, for lack of better words, self-medicated, all that.
For
And
sure.
where we're like Travis's mom, she's just very like she's not remarkable or anything. I imagine she's not perfect, but she's like standard, admirable, fulfilling her role as a mom, as
Yeah.
looking out for her boy and who's this strange new girl like that's apparently like in my house, blah blah blah. And so I thought that was really interesting how you one and how did each of those kids grew up in like different lifestyles, different backgrounds, different upbringings. And what kind of implications is that Travis still turned out? He's still being a teenager. He's still being a teenage boy, getting this excitement in life, not doesn't have much direction, even though I'm sure not for any lack of trying from his parents, from his mom. So I thought that was like really interesting to be like, yeah, I bet that Penny would give anything for this type of family, for
Yeah,
someone who is looking out for her.
totally. And it's worth mentioning that he's 19, he's 2 years younger than her, and his mom is
Mhm.
essentially holding by her fingertips the relationship with her son, because for all the presumed decent upbringing, you have a 19-year-old boy who's got an itch to get out of the house and doesn't have a lot of real ambition, and that usually ends up in a pretty fraught parental relationship. And she's just trying to save her boy, but also recognizing like, okay, there's only so much I can do. You're 19 years old and I want
Yeah.
to protect you because I don't think you know how to protect yourself. But at some point I can't do that anymore. And so she,
Yeah.
she doesn't want him to go, but in a way she lets him go.